and welcome to A Brand New Day with BTS, a podcast dedicated to bringing you a day-by-day history and song discussion of the South Korean music group internationally known as BTS. In this episode, we discuss the Mexico, Stanford, and Vegas concerts, the AMA appearance, May 28th in BTS History, and the song Neuron from J-Hope's album Hope on the Street Volume 1. First, recent BTS activity, May 5th to May 27th. I left off last episode just before BTS's Mexico performances, I believe. Needless to say, BTS had a wonderful time in Mexico. They visited the Mexican president at the National Palace, and 5,000 armies approximately, or not 5,000, 50,000. It's a big difference. 40 to 50,000 armies filled the square for a chance to see them step out on a balcony for just 5 minutes. So that's how their Mexico visit started off. V, having visited Mexico in 2022 while filming Ginny's Kitchen, stepped up to the plate and read a little prepared Spanish speech. This would be a trend that would continue throughout the concert dates, with the members trying their best to speak Spanish to reciprocate all the love they were feeling from ARMY there. While in Mexico, Suga, Jimin, Jin, and Jungkook also attended a lucha libre match, otherwise known as Mexican professional wrestling. Mystico, one of the wrestlers, wore a fan-made BTS-themed jacket and then passed it on to Jin to wear during the BTS concert the next day. While they were in Mexico, not only did people fill the stadium, but they also filled the street and parking lot outside the stadium. Their voices could be heard from inside too, so during one of his ending speeches, Suga promised to try to book a bigger venue next time. After Mexico, up next was Stanford in California. During the second day there, ARMY organized an event where they held up the Korean flag during the Ariarang chorus in Body to Body. The members have talked about it since, saying they were very touched. I'm once again not talking about every social media post because it would take up too much time, but I'll mention a few notable ones. While they were in Stanford, it's clear that the members rented a house rather than stay in a hotel, and they were able to have some home-cooked meals and have roommates again for a bit. Also, RM found time to go visit the Crying Tree on Stanford campus, which Tableau of Epic High told him to do when he and Suga filmed their Epikaze interview earlier this year. The Crying Tree in particular is lore from Tableau's backstory, and I won't take time to explain it here, but I thought it was funny and cool that RM made the effort to go. The other thing we found out after the fact was that on the second concert day in Stanford, Suga woke up at 6 a.m. and ran a 12-kilometer race called Bay to Breakers. We found out because by the encore of the performance that night, he was limping a little. And when some of the members had a live stream, ARMY asked about it, and the members told on him, basically. They spoiled it. But the good news is that it was apparently filmed and may come out as a vlog later on. As mentioned, after day 3 of Stanford, J-Hope, RMV, and Jimin did a Weverse live stream. I won't summarize it because I don't have the time, but it was a great chat with them moving from topic to topic. They also told a few more military stories, which I love, but the members always try to not get too carried away by, because I guess in Korea, people get really sick of men telling their military stories. Next tour stop was Las Vegas, and we got the surprise of Jungkook filming and editing videos again. For those who might be new, between about the fall of 2017 and 2020, JK used to occasionally film videos when he traveled, and he would film these videos and edit them himself to a soundtrack. He did one more in 2023 to document his trip to film the Standing Next to You music video, though he had to have the company help him with editing that one due to just not having enough time to do it all himself. He called them Golden Closet Films, or GCF for short. So that's what you'll see ARMY referring to them as, GCF. And we still are referring to the new ones as GCFs as well, even though Jungkook himself hasn't put that label on them. So just in case you're confused, that's where that comes from. He did one once when they were on tour in Newark in 2018 that he filmed on his phone using a VHS-style filming app. And he chose that app because he usually used a very good camera, but he had forgotten it. on that trip. So it wasn't an option. But he found this VHS style filming app on his phone and he thought that was cool. This is the style that he's currently revived. He's filmed both day 1 and day 2 so far and seems to have a desire to keep going. Unlike before when he had Big Hit upload them onto the Bangtan TV YouTube channel, now he's just posting them on his own TikTok and Instagram accounts, since both platforms support longer content these days. Back when he was doing it before, he didn't have a personal public social media account like now. Before I get to the news for Monday, I should also mention that it was announced that BTS will perform with Madonna and Shakira at the FIFA halftime show in July in New York. The show is being put together by a friend of the band, Chris Martin of Coldplay. It will be the day after their Paris concert. So as soon as their Paris concert ends, I think they're jumping on a plane to New York. They're going to be exhausted. Also, Jungkook has shown up in some great Harper's Bazaar Korea content. He also released his own capsule clothing collab with Calvin Klein. It has, of course, already sold out. So you can find a lot of Jungkook in advertisements on social medias these days. He looks great. On Monday, it was the American Music Awards in the US, specifically in Las Vegas, where BTS conveniently already were. The show opened with a recording of their performance of Hooligan from the Saturday concert. You can tell which day it was based on Jimin's hairstyle. BTS didn't perform live at the show because they needed to actually have their rest days to make sure they were in good condition for the next concerts, but they presented an award for Best Female R&B and also won 3 awards themselves. Song of the Summer, which went to Swim, Best Male K-pop Group, and Artist of the Year for the second time. They did a Weverse live stream from the hotel after the award show and were once again talking about numerous topics and talking over each other and were loud and hilarious. I won't be summarizing, but the main news is that they're all enjoying the tour immensely, and even if they occasionally have trouble sleeping and sometimes miss home, the tour itself has been very stress-free and so much fun. They're looking forward to going back to Korea for a bit though, and they're also looking forward to the performances in Busan, which will happen at Festa. And that's it for the news. Just quick news this morning that I didn't have a chance to write out in point form yesterday. Jungkook had his Instagram account suspended by accident because apparently Meta, the company who owns Instagram, is having a bit of trouble integrating AI into their processes, and AI has been suspending people's accounts erroneously. Apparently, I haven't checked myself, but I've been told that it's already been recovered, so we're good. That was the news this morning. Everybody was laughing about it. I think that's it. I've been at work all day, so if anything else has happened, I've just missed it. Currently, BTS are doing their sound check in Vegas, and they're gonna for day 3 of the concert. So in a couple hours, there will be fan cams for me to watch. I'm excited. I'm hoping to get this episode processed though, so I don't know how much of them I'm actually going to be able to watch. We'll see. If this episode is late, it's because I ended up watching concert fan cams, and you'll have to just forgive me. And I'm back because I forgot to mention that BTS have a collab with Oreo at the moment. We've been seeing signs of it on social media for a few weeks, but people were unsure if it was real or not because of the problem with AI images these days. It's hard to tell what's real, what's a carefully orchestrated practical joke. So these purple Oreos started showing up in the States in stores like Walgreens, and people were saying that they got them, but there was like a lack of, clear evidence of real humans eating them. There's just pictures of these purple Oreos. So people are like, are they AI? Is it all fake? Like, they're not at my Walgreens. Anyway, so apparently some Walgreens just jumped the gun on the announcement and put them on the shelves. But BTS have these purple Oreos out. They're hotak flavored, as far as I know, which are like a Korean style stuffed pancake kind of thing with jam inside. They're going to be in Canada too, which is super exciting because we're not getting any of the Ari stuff, which I don't think I talked about either. But BTS have like a whole food brand now that they own called Ari. Did I mention this before? Maybe I didn't. Anyway, they have noodles and they have soda and they have caffeinated drinks, and I can't buy any of them because they're not in my country. But the Oreos apparently are going to be. So That's something I can look forward to. Not as healthy as noodles, but I'll take them. This day in BTS history, May 28th. I picked this day rather arbitrarily. I thought I could get an episode out by May 28th. Usually I do that by May 28th Korean Standard Time. I can still make it if I switch it to Pacific Time, and I'm going to do that because BTS are currently in Pacific Time, so why can't this episode be? Let's find out if there's anything interesting about May 28th. May 28th, 2013. J-Hope tweets a selfie with JK. Suga tweets to complain that the weather is humid. Later, Suga tweets a photo of Jin's bed, which is the other top bunk beside Suga's top bunk bed. Suga is wondering who exactly is currently in Jin's bed, since Jin is at vocal practice. We never get an answer to this question. BTS tweet about applications being open to attend their debut showcase. They're very excited and hope that the small following of fans that they have on Twitter and YouTube will apply and attend. May 28th, 2014. Suga tweets a tease of more photos that he was waiting to post. RM tweets a photo of his outfit for the day. Jimin and JK tweet a selfie from the car. RM, Jimin, and JK appear on Arirang After School Club. May 28th, 2015. BTS are in the midst of promoting I Need You from The Most Beautiful Moment in Life Part 1 album. On this day, they appear on M Countdown once again. Back in these days, they would promote on music shows for several weeks. J-Hope tweets a selfie and thanks to ARMY. RM tweets a photo of his outfit of the day. J-Hope tweets a selfie from the salon before going to the TV station. They then appear on M Countdown. After, Jin tweets a photo of himself back in the practice room with a bunch of sunglasses stacked on his head and J-Hope in the background. The photo itself is taken by Jungkook, so no doubt they were having a great time stacking sunglasses on Jin's head together. On Korean TV, episode 14 of the variety show Problematic Men airs, which features RM as a brain teaser quiz show panelist. May 28th, 2016. BTS are in Tokyo. They have a release event for their Japanese single album for the Japanese version of Run, which was their lead single from The Most Beautiful Moment in Life Part 2. RM tweets a mirror selfie and asks ARMY to edit an ARMY mom into the photo for him. Jimin tweets a selfie video. Jungkook tweets audio only of him singing a song. And Jin tweets selfies with food. May 28th, 2017. BTS are in Japan once again, this time preparing for the Wings tour there. On this day, the only thing ARMY sees is that J-Hope tweets surprise that they've reached 6 million Twitter followers. May 28th, 2018. BTS recently released Love Yourself Tear with the lead single Fake Love. On this day in 2018, BTS find out that it is #1 on the Billboard 200 chart. Jin, J-Hope, RM, and V all tweet their thanks to ARMY, with RM calling it a miracle. RM then does a live stream where he talks about the album as a whole and gives a little background on each track. He mentioned in the beginning of the live stream that the president of Korea, President Moon, sent them a congratulatory message for the #1. Jungkook also drops by the live stream partway through looking very dapper. When RM asks him why he's dressed up so nice, he tells RM that he had an interview that involved photos. If any of you happen to know what interview this was, well, let me know. Jin also drops by the live stream shortly after JK just to briefly say hello and be handsome. RM ends the live stream abruptly by accident and tweets out apologies because apparently turning on the chat made the live stream crash. May 28th, 2019. The only thing we know for sure is that Run BTS episode 73 airs. This is part 1 of BTS Drama, which is a hilarious run of episodes in which BTS film a little short film in a rented house, with members taking on various film production roles. BTS themselves, however, are currently in London, England, getting ready for their first concert ever at Wembley Stadium. We don't know what they were doing on this day, but we do know that on one of the days in London before the concerts, V woke up at 4 a.m. to film the video for Winter Bear. We also know that while they were in London, P-Dog came for a visit to record additional vocals for Euphoria, possibly for the DJ Swivel mix, and also to do final recordings for Jin's solo song Tonight, which was released as the Festa gift that year. May 28th, 2020. BTS are actually part way through filming In the Soup, though ARMY doesn't know that yet. In the first season of In the Soup, after episode 4, you see them return to Seoul for some schedules before returning to the country a couple days later to film episode 5. Well, May 28th is the day they were filming whatever those schedules were. I'm still not sure. My leading theory is that it was the music video for Stay Gold, in which case it would also be when JK discovers that he's allergic to flowers. The Festa schedule is released on this day, and also Suga does a live stream to take us track by track through D2, which was recently released. Suga is still in makeup from whatever they filmed that day. He reports that for a while he got bored with music and it felt like a job, but now he's in love with it again and is back to writing nearly a song a day. Meanwhile, episode 7 of their docu-series Break the Silence is released. You can watch those on Weverse. May 28th, 2021. It's the second year of the pandemic. On this day, Butter Hotter Remix is released. RM posts passages from a book on Weverse. It's poetic prose that speaks on impatience and enduring hard times. It's from a book called The Back View of Things by An Hyu Cho. Jimin posts a photo of himself and a dog on Weverse. Suga tweets photos of himself and Jimin visiting the Hybe Insight Museum, which just opened in the basement of the new Hybe building. You can see this visit on the Bangtan TV YouTube channel in Bangtan Bomb. Suga and Jimin visit Hybe Insight. Jimin has recently dyed his hair back to black, and on American TV, BTS appear in pre-recorded content for Good Morning America Summer Concert Series. May 28th, 2022. BTS are gearing up to release their anthology album, Proof, while also having Chapter 2 in full swing behind the scenes. On this day, J-Hope and RM share the concept photos posted by Big Hit on their newish personal Instagram accounts. JK travels to the US ahead of the others to work on something mysterious, which we find out later is his collab with Charlie Puth called Left and Right. But why are JK and the others going to the US at all? They're traveling there to visit the White House to speak about anti-Asian hate. So if you want to watch the behind the scenes from this day, you can go to Bangtan TV YouTube channel and watch episode BTS Visit the White House to discuss anti-Asian hate crimes. While JK is leaving the country all on his lonesome, J-Hope posts a photo of his Crocs and complains about the heat, which gives him something in common with May 28th, 2013 Suga, except with the addition of Crocs. May 28th, 2023. We're well into Chapter 2, with both Jin and J-Hope enlisted at this point. RM Post recommends Ghost Town by Kanye West and Party Next Door, which I personally don't recommend because F that guy. V posts videos of Yantan selecting Motion Sickness by Phoebe Bridges for the music. RM posts a photo of his workout list for the day at the gym. Suga, meanwhile, is on tour. He's in Jakarta. He posts video clips from the first 2 nights before performing for a third and final night in the city. You can see the behind the scenes of this on the Bangtan TV YouTube channel in Suga Vlog D-Day Tour in Jakarta and episode Suga August D D-Day in Asia, as well as Suga August D D-Day Good Day. May 28th, 2024. Everyone is enlisted, but Team RM is hard at work releasing RM's Right Place, Wrong Person album on his behalf, for which he recorded and filmed all content before he enlisted. On this day, the music video for Groin is released. RM uses his phone time in the military to comment hearts on posts from the producers and composers who worked on the album. He also shares the link to the MV. V, meanwhile, uploads a video of him dancing with Bada Lee and other dancers in the practice room, which is something he would do when he was able to get a few days of vacation time from his military unit. In preparation for Jin's return, the account that was set up for the astronaut character Wuto begins to post again. May 28th, 2025. I have absolutely no idea what Jin or J-Hope were up to on this day. They were both hard at work, no doubt, being the only two who were free from the military. J-Hope had recently gotten back to Korea after the Taiwan stop on his tour and had a few days before he had to fly to Japan to do his tour stop in Osaka. Jin, meanwhile, is slowly gearing up for his own tour at the end of June. And that brings us to this year on May 28th, which hasn't happened yet. BTS are not only all free 1 year later, but also have written and released an amazing album. They will be wrapping up their Las Vegas tour dates with day 4 in the city. After that, it will be time to return home and start preparing for the Busan concerts, which will happen during Festa this year. I am really looking forward to it. Song discussion: Neuron by J-Hope, featuring Gecko and Yoon Marie. So just a quick note before I start talking about the song. I do feel like I'm kind of a bit more stream of consciousness this week on this song. Usually I kind of do these more essay style, but I really did run short of time for getting this episode out, and I did want to get the episode out by the end of May. So I kind of wrote this one more just with my thoughts and less research than I usually do. So for that, I apologize, but hopefully you still enjoy it. It really is more personally my thoughts. So please feel free to interpret everything differently than what I say. I'm just one person. Anyway, let's get into it. The album Hope on the Street, Volume 1, released by J-Hope in 2024, is actually the soundtrack to his documentary series Hope on the Street, in which he traveled to several cities across the world to learn about and showcase different street dancing styles. In particular, street dancing styles that had been foundational to J-Hope's personal street dancing journey as a child. Neuron was the lead single off the album, and also the song showcased in the final episode of the series, in which J-Hope traveled back to his hometown of Gwangju and visited the street dancing crew that had originally taught and accepted him as a child. The crew's name, unsurprisingly, is Neuron. At one time, J-Hope was the youngest member they had ever accepted into the crew, rather than just keeping him as a student in the classes that they gave. They explained in the episode it was because J-Hope couldn't actually afford classes. Instead, he would come to the community center where they taught and dance between the classes, asking other students what they were learning and practicing on his own. They saw his dedication and talent and how he didn't let things hold him back, and they knew that he was a dancer that was going to go places. Neuron, the song, is a dedication to both that dance crew, J-Hope's hometown, and also J-Hope's outlook on life itself. I'll talk about the lyrics first, then the music video, and then the choreography. I'm not going to go line by line with this one. I'm just going to talk about general themes. Neuron, the song, much like Hope on the Street itself, is about getting in touch with J-Hope's roots. At the time, J-Hope had been running hard with BTS for 12 years. He launched directly into his solo work as soon as the group's work ended, actually overlapping it somewhat, without any break whatsoever. It got to the point where J-Hope needed to pause and ask himself if he was actually happy, if he was enjoying his job, or if it was all just something he was pretending to enjoy. Was it all empty words, because feeling joy had become part of his stage persona? Back in 2018, when BTS were going through a rough time, part of how J-Hope recovered was to take lessons in the house style of dance. He took some time for himself and extended a stay in Japan so that he could learn from a famous teacher there. So, much like back then, when J-Hope was worried he didn't love his job, he took time to go back to what he had fallen in love with as a child, street dancing. And in this particular episode of the docuseries, and this particular song about his life, J-Hope chose to revisit Neuron, the start of it all. The song starts out with the conclusion that he reached after the journey and then backtracks and tells us how he got there. While the featuring artists, both senior artists with a lot of experience, become teachers for J-Hope in the song and share their own feelings and experience with him about finding joy in the music as they age. So, as I said, the song starts with the conclusion. I'll tell you again, we'll never ever give up forever. I'll say it again, we'll always be alive to move us. This is J-Hope's promise and conviction, and the next stanza explains why. Your deep-rooted movement, don't ever lose it, 'cause above all, it's priceless. The song is about how J-Hope's neurons react to music. And throughout the song, neurons are both the dance crew and J-Hope's neurons in his body, those neurons firing in response to stimuli. He rhymes neuron with new run, which he defines as a time for himself once again to get his nerves working again, i.e., his neurons. In the one verse that J-Hope has, he describes his body as a free form, still in freestyle. The lines in his verse that go, "My soul jumps through time, a whole new type. So a tree with deep roots, water that runs deep. The neurons that woke me up are the meaning behind that." Basically describing this exercise of exploring his past in order to find the roots of what made him, what woke him up to begin with, and have that wake him up and motivate him once more. And I took those translations from Bangtan Subs. Genius has them a little different, but I think the meaning is the same. Gecko is the first feature on the song. He's one half of Dynamic Duo, which you may recognize from the BTS song Hip Hop File, where they were one of the listed inspirations. Gecko was born in 1981 and Dynamic Duo debuted in 2004. So he's rapping and in the industry for a long time. His verse reflects this as he talks about the life he's lived reflecting on his face and how he has a lot of different motivations that all come together to bring meaning to his life, and finishes his verse by explaining that some of those motivations are his son and home life. And although it's impossible to escape having anxiety for the future, he just continues to work and then go home to enjoy a home-cooked meal. Yoon Mi was also born in 1981. She's American-born, but she moved to South Korea as a child and made her career there, debuting in the 1990s. She was in the group MFBTY, who RM collabed with in BTS's earlier days. I love her verse in this song. J-Hope really did give her the beat drop and the best spot. For Yoon Mi, she comes in saying her heart is moved by love and peace, but in the English lyrics of her verse, she goes on to say that passion can't be taught, and music and family have become her primary motivations even on days she hates it. The song closes out with the repeated conviction from J-Hope, the promise to never give up, and that we'll always be alive to move us. Now, before I talk about how that promise showed up in the performances in choreo, let's touch briefly on the music video. The music video was released while J-Hope was serving in the military, and unlike RM, who was able to pre-film music videos for Right Place, Wrong Person, J-Hope chose to cast actors in a music video instead of appearing in one himself. In the music video, we open with an older man taking a photo of the city. We then follow a young kid who is walking around the city taking photos of the people he meets and the things he sees. He fills a room at home with the photos. Of course, the kid also dances at one point, surrounded by some of the people he's encountered in his travels. We see him putting together a sort of mosaic of the city, a bunch of people going about their ordinary lives, making up the world he lives in, connected with red strings. At the end of the video, we return again to the older man to see that he and the young photographer are one and the same. The music video ends with the quote, "Even without knowing each other's stories, we create moments of love that bridge the gap." Possibly the only other hobby that J-Hope has stuck with in his life, besides collecting cool clothes, has been taking photos. ARMY often jokes about Hobi's photo gallery being both a treasure trove and also where all the blackmail material can be found on all the other members. He's posted photos of large file folders labeled by year before too. And when they used to do photo drops on each other's birthdays, J-Hope's selections were often the most extensive. To me, this music video is about connecting with people through dance, through photography. Street dancing is about connecting with the stranger and feeling joy together, and taking photographs are about documenting that joy, that connection to even just a stranger on a bike riding through your shot of the skyline. Fundamentally, the music video is about both that connection to the stranger and also the connection to the past and future through art, whether that's photography or dance. But that's just off the top of my head. Usually I find and watch and read theory videos, but I've run out of time this week. There's a second music video that's labeled as J-Hope's Neuron with Gecko and Yoon Mi Visualizer. That shows us scenes from the documentary, namely J-Hope's numerous practice sessions over the years in short clips, and then him dancing freestyle during the filming of the documentary, as well as other candid scenes from his everyday life captured by the documentary. This is a great video and also captures J-Hope's dedication and love for dance. Now, let's talk about performances. J-Hope performed this during his Hope on the Stage tour that he went on in the spring of 2025, before BTS were reunited in the summer. It was a chance for him to connect with ARMY and perform songs like Neuron for the first time. You can buy a digital code to watch the entirety of the Hope on the Stage concert on Weverse. You can also see a performance of Neuron on YouTube from his Lollapalooza performance in Berlin in the summer of 2025. At both Lollapalooza and in his Hope on the Stage concerts, J-Hope performed Neuron as the final song in the concert. Lollapalooza is on a much smaller stage comparatively, so if you can find a good fan cam of his tour concerts, that's the best place to see the choreography. There's an amazing move at the beginning where the J-Hope and the dancers absolutely fly across the entire length of the stage from back to front while dancing. J-Hope did this move a few times in TikToks during his tour as he danced his way to his private plane to fly to the next city as well. It's amazing to see in person, just the speed and joy at which they move, especially when you consider that during the tour, this was after 2 hours straight of solid dancing. And yet J-Hope still performed this song with the same energy as he had performed every song during the concert. As the song comes to an end, the dancers leave the stage and just J-Hope remains. As he literally runs around the stage, happily smiling as the chorus repeats at the end, the words stay up on the big screen behind him. I'll tell you again, we'll never ever give up forever. I'll say it again, we'll always be alive to move us. Even when J-Hope finishes his goodbyes and leaves the stage, those words remain. The conviction and promise that J-Hope has no plans to stop. His childhood dance crew, Neuron, still dances in Gwangju to this day, teaching new kids that have the same passion. And J-Hope will continue to dance on stage as long as his legs will carry him. On a personal note, when I saw J-Hope on tour in early 2025, it really was heartening to see that message. It felt like not just a promise from J-Hope, but a promise from BTS as an extension. They were coming back and they'd continue. I think it's because J-Hope used we, not I. We'll never give up and we'll always be alive to move us. And they are. Next episode will be a celebration of Festa. I'm going to talk about the song of the summer, Swim. I will try not to be late with that episode, and it will be up on June 13th at midnight Korean Standard Time at the latest. But I might try to get it up early too. We'll see. I want it up just before we celebrate the first Festa back with all the boys reunited. I know technically we saw them all together on Festa last year, but they couldn't perform together because Suga was still enlisted at the time. So this Festa, Festa 2026, is the first Festa with the whole team free. And it's going to be very exciting. So I'll see you then. And that brings us to the end of this week's episode. If you'd like to discuss this episode, or next week's song, or have a say in what song gets chosen in the future, you can find me on Patreon and Ko-fi at A Brand New Day Pod. You can also find me on Blue Sky at A Brand New Day Pod, or you can email me at abrandnewdaypod@gmail.com. Thank you. Have a good day.